ओम श्री हरिम परमानंदम उपदेष्टारम ईश्वरम व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्. We are trying to study Shankaracharya's Aparukshanubhuti, and last Friday we read up to Shloka 99. We have to read Shloka 100 today, but for getting the proper connection, we in this way, in the Atman, due to our wrong knowledge, we have adhyasa of Deha. That means in place of Atman, we are seeing the body. That very adhyasa, Atma Parijnana, when we know Atman thoroughly, liyate cha paratmani. This body adhyas becomes lost in the Para-Atma, Paramatma, the real nature of the self. There this body adhyas goes away. सर्वम आत्मतया ज्ञातम जगत स्थावर जंगमम अभावात सर्वभावानां देहस्य च आत्मता कुता. Then the whole world becomes known as Atman only. The whole world consisting of moving and unmoving things is then known as Atman only. Then everything else becomes absent, abha. We see the non-existence of everything else. Then how then body can be felt as Atman? So the body is also not felt as Atman. Atmanam satatam janan kalam na yamahadyute prarabdam akilam bhunjan na udvegam kartumarhasi. O Mahadyuti, the disciple is being called man of great shining. So know Atman in this way and spend your time. The prarabdha may continue, but you need not worry about it. Having touched prarabdha, then we had the full discussion that the prarabdha is for jnana-nishtha or nididhyasana-sheel, not for the full jnani. And this he told us in great length. We are not going to go back there. But there I used the word nididhyasana, and I thought I bring that word from Viveka Chodamani. Now we come to Shloka 100, please. And we find the word nididhyasana used by Shankaracharya here itself in this very Aparokshanubhuti. And we can recapitulate what we told about nididhyasana. It is not dhyanam as we already, as we usually understand it. Due to teaching, due to our hearing, we have already made conception of Atman. We have started feeling Atman or Brahman, whatever you like to call it. But along with that, other objects are also coming in the mind. That is due to our previous sanskars. And stick to that feeling of Brahman and reject every other form which comes in the mind. This is called Nididhyasana. So Nididhyasana has both positive and negative elements, and it starts only after we get a glimpse of the Atman, only after we are able to feel Atman. So Nididhyasana cannot start in the beginning. Shravan and Manan, by hearing we have made conception, and by Manan we have rejected other thoughts. And we have come to the conviction more and more. And it is not a mere conviction, intellectual so-called, but we are able to see or feel or directly experience our Atman. But due to past sanskaras of subject-object enjoyment in past lives, this seeing Atman or experience of Atman becomes obstructed, and these sanskaras rise again and again. It is at this point that Nididhyasana starts. And this point up to the full realization is what is called sannyasa or jnana nishtha. So, Nididhyasana here means we are experiencing Atman, but due to old sanskaras of bhoga, enjoyment, it is not our thought. Thought has been corrected. But the sanskaras of bhoga are there, so something is rising in the mind. And we have not to let go our hold on the Brahman which we are experiencing. We have to hold on to that, and whatever other thought, wave, sanskaras come in our mind, we have to reject them. That is called Nididhyasana. And in this context, I may tell one more thing. You might have heard a shloka, I don't know the author, some Vedanti. Shlokardhena pravakshami yad uktam grantha kotivi brahma satyam jagan mithya jivo brahmaiva napara. Whatever is told by several books of Vedanta, I am telling you by half a shloka that Brahman alone is true. The passing away Jagat is Mithya and Jiva is nothing but Brahman. So with these three statements, the Vedanta has been summarized. But people do not understand Brahman. I have seen many Vedantis talking of this shloka. You are all Mithya. I am Brahman. Like this madness. The very word Brahman means all pervasive, the reality which is transcendent and all pervasive. That is the meaning of the word Brahman. So Brahma Satya means the reality which is all pervading and transcendent. That is only reality. And Jagat means that which goes away is Jagat. Jagat Mithya includes I. Please remember. I feeling today changes we are seen. And I change becomes something else. So this I, the experiencer, is included in Jagat. That also is Mithya. Then Brahman is felt as I. Now what I wanted to point out was, Sri Ramakrishna taught Nididhyasana to his Vedanti disciple Swami Turiyananda. And he told Turiyananda, what is your Vedanta? Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya or anything more? And he said, yes, I understood. Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. Remember, what I am to point out is he did not require to say Jiva is Brahman. Though the Vedantic books tell us three lines, Sri Ramakrishna did not require to use the third line. If Brahman is everything, then where is Jiva? If Brahman is everything, if Brahman alone is real, where is the question of Jiva? So please remember this. The relation between Jiva and Brahman can be described in two ways. Either the Jiva does not exist according to Vedanta. It is a reflection, it is a feeling. It is only a pratiti. It does not exist at all. Or it is nothing but Brahman. The real nature of Jiva is nothing but Brahman. So, he did not require to call Jiva Brahmaiva. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. And then Sri Ramakrishna told him, you have heard Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, and by Manan, you have to make it firm in your mind And then whatever comes in the mind, you have to remove and hold on to that Brahman. This much he told. And then the one more lesson he gave in that context, after some days, that nothing happens without God's grace. And that also we saw here from the beginning itself. So this is Vedanta place. Now that Nididhyasan has come here. So we read, I think by now we have cleared what is Nididhyasan. And now we come to Shloka 100. Three Panchangani Atho Vakshe Purvoktasya hi labdhaye Taisya Sarvai Sada Karyam Nididhyasanam tu. Purvoktasya hi labdhaye. Purvokta means the full knowledge. What was told before? Full knowledge. And there it was told that no prarabdha remains. After showing Jnana-nishtha, then it was told about full knowledge, and that in full knowledge, prarabdha does not remain. So, purvaktasya means labdhaye. To achieve the purvakta full knowledge, now I am telling 15 steps. Three panchangani, three pancha, 3 times 5. Atho, now, vakshe, I will tell, for achieving the full knowledge. Taishya, Taishya means along with them, along with these 15 steps, Sada Karyam, always you have to do, Nididhyasanam evatu. Two is told in the end, but you have to do Nididhyasan always, along with these 15 elements. So how the Nididhyasan goes to full knowledge is with the help of 15 steps. Understand? He says Nididhyasan has been described. It culminates in the full knowledge has been told. But in between, Nididhyasan has to be done continuously along with 15 more steps. Then importance of practice. Nityabhyasa praptir na bhavet satchidatmanah tasmat brahma nididhyase jigyasu shreyase chiram. About whom is being told? Jigyasu. Jigyasa is not curiosity. Jigyasa has been described by Shankaracharya in the first sutra of the Brahma Sutra, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. And there it tells us Jigyasa is that desire which will not stop till we fully know and realize Brahman. That is called Jigyasa. So Jigyasa is what Sri Ramakrishna has been calling as Vyakulata. Sri Ramakrishna describes Vyakulata as the dawn. If that dawn is maintained, if the Vyakulata is maintained physically, after 40-45 minutes, the sun will rise. That is called dawn. So, once the Vyakulata is there, we have to maintain that, and then Brahman will shine. So, that is called Jigyasa. Jigyasu, one who has that Jigyasa is called Jigyasu. A man with yearning to realize Brahman. He should do Nididhyasan always. That means Brahman is being felt, other things are rising, he has to remove them. Shreyase, if he wants to attain ultimate goal of life, Chiram, permanent. If he wants to attain the goal permanently, otherwise it is flickering like coming and going. So if he wants to attain the goal permanently, he should do Nididhyasan of Brahman without regular practice. The Satchit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, Atman cannot be achieved, Prapti. Without regular practice of Nididhasan, existence, consciousness, bliss, Atman cannot be achieved. So, if the man with the yearning wants his permanent Shreya, he must do Nididhasan continuously. And in the previous shloka we are told, Nididhasan requires, along with that, 15 steps. This is the place of yoga in Vedanta. Place of yoga in Vedanta is that along with Nididhasan, in Patanjali this was missing. Anyway, just a comparison came to my mind. 15 steps will lead to Samadhi there. Here 15 steps are to be practiced along with Nididhasan. And then what we are experiencing Brahman today will become permanently realized. So that is the Jnana-Nishtha stage. That is also called sannyas. So from here to there, these things will go on together. Nididhasan and these 15 steps. When we say 15 steps, one follows the other. Not all 15 steps together. There are steps to reach the terrace. So steps to reach the terrace are one after the other. And on one side, Nididhasan is going on, and steps one after the other is being taken. That will result in the final goal of life. Now, we read that day 102 and 103. We are reading again. He's counting the 15 steps here. Yamo hi niyamas tyago, maunam deshascha kalata, asanam mulabandhascha, deha samyam cha druksiti, prana संयमनम चैव प्रत्याहारश्च धारणा आत्मध्यानम समाधिश्च प्रोक्तानि अंगानि वै क्रमात्. Yes, क्रमात् also here is told here. The angas are not parts, angas are steps. The steps have been told in a sequence, krama, proktani, by the people who know practice. They have told us 15 steps in a sequence. And these 15 steps we have seen include the 8 steps proposed by Patanjali. In between, 7 more steps have been added. Yama, I would translate Yama as general rules. Niyama, special rules. Tyaga, renunciation. Mauna, dhyana parayanata. Desha, proper place. Kala, proper time. Asanam, proper posture. Not the several asanas of Hatha Yoga. Moolavandha. This is one of the asanas. A type of asana is Moolavandha. Deha Samya. This is also type of asana that we have to keep the body straight. Asana, sitting to meditate with Moolavandha. He will tell us what is Moolavandha and Deha Samya. Chadriksiti. This is also part of the asana. Where to keep the eyes. Driksiti. So, we have seen that 7 has been added. After Yama and Niyama, Tyaga Mauna Deshakal. After Asan, Mulabandha Deha Samya Driksiti. Then the remaining Prana Sanyamanam. Pranayam is called as control of the prana, Chaiva, and also Pratyahar, withdrawal, Dharana, concept. Atmadhyanam. He has specifically mentioned Atmadhyanam along with Nididhasana. Atmadhyanam, that means not objective knowledge, differs greatly from Patanjali or so-called meditation. Even the Hatha Yogistic meditation, meditation on this table, meditation on this chair, meditation, Deshavandha, anywhere you like, no. Meditation on Atman, your own real nature. Samadhisya, total concentration, has to be practiced. These have been told as 15 steps in a sequence. Now the wonderful thing comes. The names are same as Patanjali's 8, and yet the definition is entirely different. Entirely different. Nothing to do with what Patanjali said. Nothing. Names are common. Sarvam Brahmeti Vijnanat Indriya Grama Sanyamaha Yamo Yamiti Samprokto Abhyasi Niyo Murmu. So everything is on the basis of the Advaita knowledge which you are already having in experience, though not in full realization. And here it goes directly similar or same as what Sri Krishna taught. Sri Krishna said, tie the Advaitic knowledge in the knot of your cloth and do whatever practice you want. Do whatever practice you want. He has opened a very general thing to us. But having tied Advaita knowledge in the knot of your cloth, that means at the basic fundamental background of all that is the Advaitic knowledge. And to realize that Advaitic knowledge fully, you use this. Now, Sarvam Brahmeti Vijnanat, the experience that all is Brahman. Please remember, immanence is as much stress as the transcendence. We have seen throughout Aparokshanubhuti that Sarvam Brahma is the knowledge, experiential knowledge. He has given how that experience comes. When all this is Adhyasa, and by knowledge all this Adhyasa goes into Brahman, then everything is seen as Brahman. So Sarvam Brahmaiti Vijnanat, then Indriya Grama Sanyama. Grama means the collection. All the Indriyas. All the Indriyas are to be controlled not by some repression, suppression or checking or this or that. By the knowledge that all is Brahman, what will the Indriyas do? Indriyas cannot go to their objects if we know all is Brahman. Indriya Brahman, object Brahman, Indriya going to object is Brahman, then why will they go? If the joy which we receive by Indriya touching an object, temporary joy, if the permanent joy we get by all is Brahman, then why will the Indriyas act? So knowledge itself leads to control. That is the meaning. And this is called Yamo. Yamo Yamiti Samprokto. It has been rightly told as Yama. Not 5 Yamas. What is the general rule? Control of the Indriyas through the knowledge that all is Brahman. But Abhyasiniyo Murmuhu. It will slip away. Though we know all is Brahman, but the old habits are there. We have seen all these practices are for removing the sanskaras of the old habits. So by the old habits, the Indriya will try to go to some object. So we have to again tell the Indriya, tell our mind that all is Brahman. Why you are going anywhere? This is only a reflection of Brahman. This is only a shadow of Brahman. In the Gita commentary, it has been clearly pointed out. Yato yato nishcharati manaschanchala astiram tatas tato niyam maitat atmani eva vasham nayat. Wherever the mind goes, because of mind's nature of being chanchal, from there turn it back to Atman. There Shankar says in commentary, Atma yathatma jnanena avabhasi kritya. Note down those words. Atma yathatma jnanena avabhasi kritya. By the knowledge of the real nature of Atman, understand that this is only a shadow. And in that way, control the mind. Understand that everything is only a shadow because you know the real nature of Atman. Atman is everything. And so, in that way, bring the mind back. So here he says, control of the Indriyas through the knowledge that all is Brahman. But this has to be repeated again and again. That is Yama. Sajatiya pravahascha vijatiya tiraskruti Niyamo hi paranando niyamat kriyate budaihi. Niyama, special rules, not five. Sajatiya prava, that means I am feeling Brahman. Vritti breaks, my mental wave breaks, but next day again I am feeling Brahman. Next day again I am feeling Brahman. Or in the, if you go by the field of bhakti, I am feeling Bhagavan. Now I am talking with him. Now I am listening to him. Now I am doing this with him. So these are called Sajatiya Pravaha. The vritti flow of the same type again and again. We are perceiving Brahman. Then the next vritti comes. Let that also perceive Brahman. And Vijatiya Tiraskruti. So the different type of wave will come, but remove it. Do not accept it. Very practical knowledge that due to sanskaras, the Vijatiya vritti will come. Go on rejecting that and repeatedly have the same type of vritti. That is called niyama. And Shankara says this gives such a great joy. Paranando, niyamo hi paranando. This gives a supreme joy. If the opposite type of wave is removed and we come back to Brahman, Brahman is itself the bliss. So the joy comes again and again. Budai, wise people do this rule. Niyama means special rule, and this is the special rule followed by the wise people, by the wise sadhakas, that the vritti pravaha should be of the same type. The opposite type will come, don't accept that, throw it away. That is called niyama. So niyama also not five, niyama also not control, niyama also is knowledge, control through knowledge. Now, four more items are there. Tyag. Tyaga prapancha rupasya chidatmatva avalokanath. Tyago hi mahatam puja sadyo mokshamayo yataha. Sadyo mokshamayo. Remember Gita 12th chapter. Tyagat shantiranantaram. If the tyaga is complete, next moment you have moksha. And that Shankara says here, what tyaga? Not only giving up house and not only doing Virja home and becoming a sannyasi. Prapancha Rupasya, Atman is appearing as manifold world. That has to be given up. Chidatma Tva Avalokana. By seeing, by experiencing, and not theory, by experiencing that all is consciousness, all is Atman which is consciousness. By seeing that all is Atman as consciousness, so the manifold is rejected. That is called Tyaga. Mahatam Pujaha. The great people worship this Tyaga. The great people worship this Tyaga. That the manifold is rejected by observing that all is nothing but consciousness Brahman. Sadhya mokshamayo yata, immediately it gives you moksha if it is completed, because it is a step. But if that is taken in full, then that itself will give you moksha. That is, as I said, Gita 12th chapter, Tyagat Shantir Anantaram. Now, next is Maun. Yasmad Vacho Nivartante Aprapya Manasa Saha Yan Maunam Yogi Bir Gamyam Tad Bhavet Sarvada Buddha. When we are experiencing Brahman, the Vani and mind stop before. Vani and mind, speech and mind cannot reach Brahman, and we are able to catch Brahman. So, the yogis means the sadhakas, real sadhakas, that is the mauna to be understood by the sadhakas. The mauna to be really understood by sadhakas is that when the Brahman is caught, then Vani and mind will not reach there. Always the wise people should have this mauna. Not a mauna vrat, not moving with slate in hand, not that type of mauna. Mauna is knowledge that reaching Brahman, neither mind nor Vani can reach it. And so, what is the use of speaking when it cannot reach Brahman? That is Mauna. Now, he is describing Mauna at a greater length. वाचो यस्मात् निवर्तन्ते तद् वक्तुं केन शक्यते प्रपंचो यदि वक्तव्या सोपि शब्द विवर्जिता इति वा तद्भवेत् मौनं सतां सहज संगीतम गिरा मौनं तु बालानां प्रयुक्तं ब्रह्मवादिभिः Vani cannot reach there, so how can I talk about it? And if I talk about the world, it has also no word to describe because it does not exist. If I want to talk about Brahman, I cannot talk because the Vani does not reach Brahman. It cannot be described. And if I try to describe the world, it is without any word because it is indescribable, because it is unreal. So how to describe the world which is unreal? Unreal, if we say, it appears real. If we say real, it is unreal. So even that word is not there. Maya is described as satasat anirvachaniya. Anirvachaniya cannot be expressed as real or unreal. That is the world. As Brahman, it is real. It appears to us. But when we analyze, it is unreal. So it cannot be called real or unreal. Then what we can talk about it? This knowledge is Mauna. And Brahman cannot be described. So how can I describe it? Satam means of the real people, good people, Sahaja Sangitam, automatically, naturally it is flowing through knowledge. If a knowledge that Brahman cannot be reached by words, cannot be described, will not try to talk about it. If we know that world cannot be described because it is neither real nor unreal, so that should be our mauna, which is very natural for the good people. We say gira maunam, that means a rule taken where I will not speak. That is for children. No, actually it is not children. Literally balas mean children, but in Vedanta, balas always means undeveloped minds. I will tell you one incident. Swami Vivekananda has come back from America and very big meeting is there in Chennai, very big meeting. And big people are there. And Swamiji says, you mustache babies. So mustache has grown. Your mind has not grown. Mustache babies. That is Balana. So Brahmavadis use that mauna, which is the real, and this mauna is for undeveloped minds. It is not going to help you much. It is a fact anyway. So maunam has been told. Then next is proper place to meditate. And we are told to meditate in ekanta. That means uninhabited place. Vijana. Vijana means place without other people. Now that he is describing through knowledge. Adavante cha madde cha jano yasmin na vidyate yenedam satatam vyaptam sa desho vijana smrta. When we think of Brahman, in the beginning, in the middle, Srishti Sthiti Pralaya, but nothing exists. Everything exists to the Brahman. So where are other people? Very important. Other people physically may be around us. And yet we are sitting in a secluded place because we are seeing Brahman everywhere. So this knowledge itself is described as a step. Application of the knowledge in different situations and levels of life are the 15 steps. So, where the people do not exist in the beginning, middle, and end, and because everything is pervaded by Brahman, that place is called Vijana or Ekanta or secluded place. Then proper time. We should meditate in the morning, in the evening, that is all right. That is all right for a beginner. But for a sadhak who has developed this much, Nididhasan is doing. And along with that Nididhasan, these steps are being followed. For him, what is the proper time? Kalanat sarvabhutanam brahmadinam nimeshata kala shabdena nirdishto hi akhanda dvayaha. Advaya akhanda ananda is called kal. Why? Kalanat means kal, what does it do? It counts time. No. Sarvabhutanam, right from Brahma up to blade of grass, it counts in a second, nimishata. That means all of them do not exist, everything is Brahman. This knowledge counts. My life, your life, Brahma's life, blade of grass life has nothing. Brahman is everything. That is called the proper time. So there is no proper time. Everything is proper by this knowledge. Kala is necessary. Proper time is necessary for the beginner. For this man, every time is a proper time. And this is Advaya, Akhandananda Roop. Advaya, Akhandananda Roop is Brahman. And this Brahman counts everybody's life in a moment. For Brahman, which is eternal, what is 100 years of man's life? What is Brahma's life of thousands of years? Nothing but a moment. In Puranas, these things are told very funny. This is a meeting in Brahma's chamber. And Narada claps. What happened? Rama is born. Again, immediately gives another clap. What happened? Ravan has been killed. So, in their counting, this is just a moment. So, for a man who is eternally devoted to Brahman, which is eternal, which is full of bliss always, without a second, for him, what is this world? So, every time becomes proper time. In proper application, I will tell you another incident was this. Mahapurush Maharaj was the president, and some Swami had to go to Madras from Belur Math. And Mahapuruji asked him why you have not yet gone. He said, I am seeking the auspicious time. Mahapuruji said, if you are going on the Lord's work, every time is auspicious. So auspiciousness is a worldly concept. The proper time is, if God is filled in your mind, every time is proper. Well, you may suffer some worldly loss, but that will not make you suffer your spiritual consciousness. That is the main point. We are not denying that in the world there is a proper, improper time, but that is in concern with the world, not in concern with spiritual life. Now, so these four have been taken care of. Mauna, Desha, Kala, and what was one more? Tyaga. Tyaga, Mauna, Desha, and Kala have been taken care of. Now we come back to Asana. This is similar to Patanjali. Sukhe, but difference is there in Patanjali. Brahman, the concept of Brahman is not at all there. Sukhe naiva bhavet yasmin ajasram brahmachintanam asanam tadvijaniyat netarat sukhanashanam, a direct hit and criticism of the yogic asanas. Remember, Shankara has given a direct hit and condemnation of the so-called yogic asanas. They may be all right for physical health, but Ajasram Brahmachintanam, the thinking of Brahman is continuous. That asana, that posture is right, where easily, sukhe naiva, Brahmachintanam Ajasram Bhavati, where you can continuously think of Brahman, that posture is called asana. You should know that as asana. No itara, not the other. Sukhanashanam, where you are produced some torture of the happiness. If you do one leg like that, then the other like that, it is torturing. So torturing is not asana. That asana in which you can continuously think of Brahman is asana. Most general definition. Now, he describes one or two asanas for that. One asana which is very common is Siddhasana. Siddhasana means physically you extend your knees and above and below your indriya keep your ankles. That is called Siddhasana normally. Now see Shankara's definition. Siddham yat sarvabhutadi vishwadhishtanam avyayam yasmin siddha samavishta tadvai siddhasanam vidu. Brahman itself is Siddhasana, he says, which is Siddha. Siddha means proved, which is established. Siddha asana means an established asana, which is established as the origin of all beings, as the support of all world, Avyam, unchanging support of the world, unchanging beginning of all bhutas, and all the siddhas, all the perfected beings are nothing but living in Brahman. So that is Siddhasana. Siddhasana is known as that Brahman, which is the beginning of all beings, which is the support of all beings, and which includes all the perfected beings. That is called Siddhasana. So about asana, he has mentioned one particular asana which is very common. Now, next is Mula Bandha. Some joints in the body are to be closed. So one of that is called Mula Bandha. Now see Shankara's Mula Bandha. Yan Moolam Sarva Bhutanam, Yan Moolam Chitta Bandhanam, Mula Bandha Sada Sevyo, Yogyo So Raja Yoginam. One important word is coming here. That which is the origin of all beings, Brahman. And that where our mind can get fixed. Our mind cannot get fixed in anything permanently except in Brahman. So, Chitta Bandhanam, that where mind can be fixed always, Mool. That is the proper Mula Bandha to be resorted to by Raja Yogis. You understand here? The Vedantic sadhak is called by Shankaracharya as the Raja Yogi. And we will see after some shlokas, Patanjali's yoga is called by him Hatha Yoga. The ordinary Hatha Yoga is far below. He does not talk of it. Patanjali's yoga is application of will. And so it is called Hatha Yoga. Forcibly we are doing something. And he will tell us how it is useful, that also he will tell us. But the Raja Yoga, according to him, is the Vedanta sadhana itself is the Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga means Yoga Nam Raja. What is the Yoga Nam Raja? Yoga means not Chittavritti Nirodha. Yoga means Tatprapti Upaya. And the king of Tatprapti Upayas is this Nididhyasana. And this step to be taken along with Nididhyasana, which is called Mula Bandha. So Mula Bandha is also thought of as Brahman as the origin of everything, Brahman as the support of everything, Brahman as the where our mind can get fixed, that we should think about Brahman. So Brahman is Nirguna, all right, but Brahman has special characteristics, and those characteristics are being used for all the 15 steps. Different characteristics are being used for all the 15 steps. Body and mind cannot go there is a characteristic, and that was used for Mauna. Nothing exists, so that was used for Vijanadesh. So, the origin of all beings, the support of our mind, that is called Mula. And that is Brahman, that is to be used as Mula Bandha by the Raja Yogis, by the Vedantic sadhakas. So this term has come here in contrast with what people feel. Patanjali is to be Raja Yoga and Hatha Yoga is far below. Shankaracharya here says the Vedantic sadhak is Rajogi and Patanjali is Hatha Yoga because will is to be exercised there. That is the meaning of Hatha Yoga. Now, next is additional point, Samya, Deha Samya. Anganam samatam vidyat same brahmani linatam no chet naiva samanatvam rujutvam shushka vrukshavat. He started condemning certain things here. What is Anganam samata? Brahman is same everywhere. So if all our angas get merged in Brahman, it is Samanga. Brahman is same everywhere. So if all our angas, physical, mental and everything become merged in Brahman, that is the best Samanga. No chet, if not that, naiva samanatvam. Otherwise you cannot achieve samanatva. Rujutvam, shushka vruksha. Like a dry tree standing erect. Like that, if you are sitting, that is not samanatva. All your physical, mental angas should get merged in Brahman. That is samanatva. So, names are Patanjali type and meaning is Vedantic type. No chet naiva samanatvam rujutvam shushka vrukshavat. Shushka vrukshavat rujutvam is not samanatva. Now, where the eyes are to be kept? We are to be told if the eyes are closed, it may become sleep or subjective. If eyes are open, we may be distracted by the world. So keep the eyes between the eyebrows. That is the normal procedure for a beginner. For this Nididhyasana man, Drishtim Jnanamayim Kritva Pashet Brahmamayam Jagat Sa Drishti Paramo Dhara Na Nasagra Avalokani. Nasagra. That also some people mistake tip of the nose, not this. Nasagra. That is Bhrumadhya. He says Bhrumadhya Drishti is not Drishti. Drishti, make the Drishti means vision. Drishti does not mean eyes here. Drishti means vision. What vision you should have? Jnanamayim. Vision should be full of knowledge. What is knowledge? The whole world is nothing but Brahman. Pashet Brahmamayam Jagat. So, Brahmamayam Jagat Pashet by the sight of, by the vision of Jnana, that is called Paramodhara, great. Udar means high, noble, ideal. Paramodhar means great, noble. That is the proper drishti. Not that which is looking at the tip of the nose. No nasagravalokani. Another way of drishti. Drashtu darshana drishanam viramo yatra va bhavet. Drishti satraiva kartavya na nasagravalokani. Va means alternate view of the right vision. The seer, seen, and seeing all become lost in Nirvikala Samadhi. all become lost in the proper Nididhyasana. So, either whole world is Brahman, one side, immanence. Immanence, Jnana Drishti through immanence. Another is Jnana Drishti through transcendence. That the difference between subject, object, and the interaction is lost. He said that drishti should be done. No nasagravalokati. Not looking at the tip of the nose, but where the seer seen and seeing will get lost. So transcendent Brahman is one way of drishti. Immanent Brahman, all pervading, is another way of drishti. That is drishti, not nasagravalokati. This is he is calling as a Raja Yoga. Now, after that, these are the three extras that come, that has been dealt with. Now we come with pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Let us check our list once. Yes. Mulabandha, Deha, Samya, Drikshiti, three extras have been dealt with. Now pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. Now, why pranayam is practiced? When we practice pranayama, the systematic breathing, the controlled breathing, that is pranayama. The controlled breathing, the systematic breathing we practice so that our mind also will become systematic. That is the purpose. Streamlining, as we call it. If we streamline our breathing, then mind also comes in a proper stream. That is the purpose. Now, suppose the mind we comes in a proper stream by thinking of Brahman, breathing will always become automatic. So through pranayama, we are reaching mental control, but through mental control, we change with pranayama. Sri Ram Krishna has told this, that in bhakti, kumbhak becomes automatic. In bhakti, kumbhak, the restraining of prana is automatic when one is devoted to God. When we are merged in thought of God, kumbhak automatically happens. So Shankar is telling us, चित्तादि सर्वभावेषु ब्रह्मत्वेनैव भावनात् निरोधः सर्ववृत्तीनां प्राणायामः स उच्यते. Bhav means positive existence. Our mind has a positive existence in our feeling. Chittadi, sarva bhaveshu. Our body, indriyas, mind. We know that all is nothing but Brahman. Brahman appears as our mind, Brahman appears as our indriyas, Brahman appears as our body. Sri Ram Krishna's daily evening prayer automatic was Prana Krishna, Buddhi Krishna, Man Krishna. That is the meaning. That everything is nothing but Krishna. So, bhavana, this you have to feel. This is not a rational so-called thought. This is a feeling. You have to feel that chitta, adi, all the bhavas is Brahman in their real nature, Brahmatvaneva. Then all the vrittis of the mind, all the waves of the mind will become stopped automatically. Chitta vritti nirodh we do not require to be done by will. If we understand everything is Brahman, understand? No, experience. All is Brahman, then automatically all vrittis will stop. So pranayam will stop. Pranayam will happen automatically. Breathing will stop or breathing will happen systematically if all waves of the mind stop. Now pranayama has three parts normally. Rechaka, Puraka and Kumbhaka. Exhaling everything, all the pranas. Indrawing as much as possible and stopping. These three are generally taken as pranayama. That he is describing separately now. Nishedanam prapanchasya rechakakya samirana brahmaivasmiti ya vrittihi purako vayuririta tatastad vritti naishchalyam kumbhaka prana sanyama ayam chapi prabuddhanam agyanam grana pidanam. Again he has put a comment here. Rejecting, negating the manifold is called exiling. Samirana means air. Rechakakya means exiling the air. Here, exiling the air, in place of that, we are negating the entire manifold. And then what I am? Brahman. When the entire manifold is negated, Brahman is felt as I. So, if we can feel I am Brahman, then that is called inhaling. Puraka means we are feeling ourselves, not by Vayu. We are feeling ourselves by Brahman. So that is fooling. Tatastad vritti naishchalam. And that in that our vritti should stop. We have negated the entire world. We have filled ourselves with the thought we are Brahman. And there the vritti should stop. Vritti naishchalyam. Vritti does not move there. That is called kumbha. That is the kumbha which is achieved by pranasayam. So pranasayam can be achieved in this way. Ayam chapi prabuddhanam. This is also for the awakened people, that Rajogi or the Vedantic sadhak. Agyanam granapidana. Those who do not have this knowledge, for them it is all right to trouble their nose. Normal pranayam, Shankar calls as troubling your nose. So troubling your nose is for the ajnanis, for the jnanis. Negate the world, infill yourself with Brahman, and retain that. That is called the jnanis pranayam. So we are left with now the inside three. Four. Pratyar Dharana Dhyan Samadhi. We have to take it up tomorrow. Today we have completed up to 120. And from 100, we had some previous shlokas, but we started from 100. So 21 shlokas we have taken today. And what remains is 24. And almost sure I am, why? We may take it to be sure that we may complete this on the Friday. So some people are asking me, I replied also, and I will talk to Atma Priyanji now if he is available here. Maharaj, for Atma Bodh, do you want to issue a separate circular again?
Not yet today, Maharaj.
Do you want to issue a separate circular again, Maharaj? From next week, we can take Atma Bodha.
Maharaj is not here today. So,
Huh?
Maharaj is not here today.
Today? Maharaj is not there.
Present,
Okay,
Maharaj.
okay. I will talk to him on phone separately.
Okay, Maharaj.
I will talk to him on phone separately. And on Friday, he can give you the announcement and the next circular.
Okay, Maharaj.
If he agrees, then on the Friday, he can give you the next circular and the announcement. And let us hope that the book gets finished on Friday. And then from next Wednesday, we can take up the text Atma Bodha. Okay? Om Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtarameshwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanam.